finding the initial amount and the rate of change given a graph of a linear function. So in this problem, not only are we finding the rate of change, which is another phrase or term used for slope, but we are also finding the initial amount, which we'll later refer to as the y-intercept. So let's start by finding the initial amount. Where does our line start? So let's start by considering what the problem is even about. A machine at a bakery is pouring out flour. The graph shows the amount of flour in grams remaining in the machine versus time in minutes. So after a certain amount of time passes. So now, how much flour in grams is there initially? To start off, we have a total of 540 grams of flour. And that amount is decreasing over time until finally it gets to 0 to nothing left at 4.5 minutes. Now, what we want to know again is the initial amount, which we already said is 540. So we determine the initial amount in either part A or B. In this case, that's in part B. And the way the question is asked is, what is the amount of flour in the machine at 0 minutes? When you're asked for an amount at 0 minutes, that does imply the initial amount. Now, is the amount of flour increasing or decreasing over time? As described, and as we can tell now from the graph, it is decreasing because we can see the line is going downward from left to right. Therefore, in part A, we have to select one of these two options. As time increases, the amount of flour in the machine decreases, or as time increases, the amount of flour in the machine increases. And again, we've determined that as time goes on, the amount of flour is doing what? It's decreasing. So we have to first select this option. Now, by how much, or in other words, at what rate is this amount of flour decreasing? So just like in earlier problems, we take 2 points on the graph. For example, we can take this point and this point. What was the amount of flour lost in this amount of time or used in this amount of time? From 540 down to 420, the difference would be 540 minus 420, which is a total of 120. Therefore, it went down 120 over what? Over 1 minute. So in 1 minute, 120 grams per minute. So we do not need to put a negative sign as you would have in earlier problems, because the fact that we're stating here that it's decreasing already implies negative. Therefore, we just put the amount by which it's decreasing per minute, and we just concluded that that is 120 grams per minute.